Hey everyone, welcome to Win the Hour, Win the Day. I am your host, Chris Ward, and I am super excited today to talk to Greg Cross. Greg Cross is in the house, and he is the CEO and co-founder of Glimpse Video. And that is a video marketing platform. Now I could jump in and tell you what I think it is, but Greg, welcome to the show. Why don't you tell us what is a video marketing platform?
Perfect. Thanks, Chris, for having me on. A video marketing platform, Glimpse Video, is a do-it-yourself platform. We're a software as a service, subscription-based, where people come on and we offer them tools that they can use every day in their business. So we offer video email, capture video testimonials from their happy customers, create what we call story videos, which is really kind of propelled and motivated from Donald Miller's philosophy of building a story brand, and then just your general branded videos, thought videos.
Okay, so this is a software that makes it really super easy because we all have videos on our phone. We can do that. We don't need you, but this is much more interactive, user-friendly, and also I understand too, when it's coming up in the email, you see the video instead of click here on this dry link and all that other stuff, right?
Right. So for instance, like our video testimonial tool, we provide the functionality for a customer to send their customer, their recipient, a link that would then, using our Glimpse Video software, can capture. There'll be an on-site or an on-screen countdown timer that would give
Oh.
50 seconds. And then the recipient can play that back and go, yeah, I'm happy with that. And then when it shoots back, then our customer has the ability to go in and add music, add their branding
Oh.
to the front end of that video, the back end of that video, a call to action thumbnail, boom, and then it produces it as an MP4 video that they can
Okay,
push to
that is
social.
impressive because then you just make it user friendly for the end user when you're asking for a favor already with a testimonial, right? And then
Exactly.
you're just not monkeying around, you're just spoon feeding. Okay, that's fantastic. All right.
Yep.
Awesome. Okay, so let's talk about testimonials. You're all about video marketing. Where do we start with a video testimonial? Do we give, when we're asking for a favor, how much guidance do we give that consumer? We're saying, hey, you're really happy with my service. So would you mind are you open to giving me a video testimonial? How do you approach it?
Yeah. So here's how I approach it. Everybody has happy customers.
Mm-hmm.
There's, in most time in small businesses, I always, it's not something I generate, but there's that honeymoon stage. People love what you do, love what you offered them, product or service. And so that's the perfect time to capture that and just say, hey, customer, would you be in a position and willingness to give me a video testimonial? Most times, Chris, if people are just asked, they will say yes. And so then once you get that permission, then you can send them a video testimonial. Now, the thing that Glimpse Video does that's different, like you said at the beginning of the podcast, we have phones, we have this, we have that. So what we do is we really kind of systematize that for the customer journey so that then they get the ability in their inbox and has a button that says, I'm ready to record a video testimonial. Boom, they start doing that. Or we also can say, hey, remind me in 2 days. Then they get dripped on 2 days later. And then they do that for 14 days. But customers are willing to do that. We don't want your customer, and this is also important in just time and attention. We don't want them to drone on about your product and service, even though it's great. We don't want them to go on for 5 minutes. So we only give them 50 seconds. They only get 50 seconds to tell. And actually being more pithy is going to be to your advantage because people's attention spans are small.
Yeah, you're right. Now, I have to tell you, I've been in business for quite some time now, but what a rookie mistake I would make those first few years. First of all, I would get really busy and forget about testimonials. Okay, painful lesson, learn that. Then I would move to, I don't even understand where my brain was, but then I would move to, I thought you had to be at the end of the journey to get the testimonial. Like, oh, okay, we're done now. You've accomplished all these things. Like maybe my mind got sucked into like before and afters of weight loss. Like, oh, here you are before, and now you've lost the weight. You give us a testimonial because you've made this big accomplishment. So you're right. I now get frequent testimonials through when I'm dealing with my coaching clients with Win the Day
Right.
private coaching. So I get that frequently. Great. And you're right. I also too learned, the more like somebody would say something really awesome to me. Like, I've had people say, Chris, oh my heavens, you changed my business. You changed my life. And I say, oh, that is fantastic. Would you say that on video? Would you do that? Oh, for sure, Chris, for you, anything.
Perfect.
And then they go on and start, I'm not kidding you, from where they were, like their life story. And you're like, oh my heavens, land the plane, like all I wanted you to say was that exact thing. So what I've learned is you really need to sort of corral that in with time and some sort of direction, because it can go awry really quickly.
Yeah, and so you just gave the perfect scenario. And so the encouragement that I would give, a business owner is to understand and be listening for those clues, those high points. So like in that scenario that you just painted, if you heard somebody say that, figure out a window there to say, hey, Bob, Susie, you mentioned the other day that you loved what I did for you. If I sent you an email requesting a video testimonial, could I get your permission to do that? I'm telling you, most people will do that for you. If I take the example of like a roofing company, people, there's a lot of things in that customer service journey, but it may be in the middle of that process. Like, oh, I just love what your guys are doing. At the end of the day, they picked up nails. Maybe that's the time to come in on that journey and ask for that video testimonial. Or maybe it could be at the end of that roofing project. They love the beauty of it, blah, blah, blah. So video testimonial.
Or both.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah. Because then you can cite. We all know the power of reviews. We all know about Google My Business. We all know when we get in our inbox, a written testimonial. Those are beautiful expressions of what your company did, right? Yeah. But I'm telling you, video testimonials, if you can capture that, are like win the lottery. It's like steroids, because now it's all about story. It's about a narrative. And if somebody can tell their own personal story about your business, it's hard to downplay that emotion.
Yeah, it really is, because I know, like for us with Win the Day, when we do our big thing is how to stop entrepreneurs from working so hard. So we do that a couple ways, helping you create your win team, your what is next team, and also leaning into what we call super toolkits. They're kind of like SOPs, but standard operating procedures are built to cover liability, and never by the end user are they created, that type of thing. So I just had a video testimony last week by someone, and she was explaining like, oh my heavens, when I first started working with Chris, I was working like 7 days a week for months, like maybe I don't even remember my last day off, 6 months. It's insane. And she said within the first month of working with, Chris, I 25 hours back a week, which people tell me all the time. But she said, like, you don't know what that looks like. It looks like I'm not impatient with my children. It looks like now I'm starting to take Fridays off as well. But more importantly, I'm getting so much more work done. But she started giving details of her life and the age of her children. And she didn't go on too long. She did a spectacular job. But it made this story far more relatable to the person watching it. Just then, you can get more done in less time. And, it started to like, oh yeah, I've got kids I'm snapping at, like that kind of thing. Right.
And just the emphasis that someone brings to the table in the embodiment of a video testimonial. Because if I say, hey, Win the Hour, Win the Day with Chris Ward was one of the best experiences I ever had. She was very generous hear the intonation, my inflection, my excitement, my enthusiasm. That doesn't necessarily always get, compelled in a written testimony.
No.
Now, written testimonies are great. I'll take them all day long. But if I can get somebody, a customer, to convert that to a video testimony, I'm willing to go onto a camera and do that. It's gold.
I think that written is also a little bit less trusted nowadays. But I know,
Yeah, that's credibility is huge. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. I know for me, we've talked about this a couple of times on the show. Like, I'm all about the personal message. Anything that I can do where I could send a video instead of writing it out. For starters, people, it's quicker. I don't have to write it out and try to be charming in an email and chatty. and then I can just talk, and people really do hear a lot to the tone of your voice, right? I mean, how one sentence can be interpreted 7 different ways when you read it, but when they hear you say, "Oh my gosh, I really truly had a good time," versus written, "I had a good time," that's night and day. But I know even for you, I send everything in video all the time, video pitches to be on when I'm a guest on other shows, when I want to thank somebody, anything, right? And so people go on and on about this, like I, made some big production and they're so appreciative of it. And you were one of the few videos I've ever gotten. So I was like, oh my gosh, I got a video. This is so exciting. And you do really instantly connect with that person. It's like, oh, okay. Especially people, and I say this all the time, if I can go on a rant for a minute, my pet peeve is when people reach out to be on my podcast, and sometimes either they're presenting themselves as bigger than they are or whatever they're doing. I don't care how big you are. And then you have your assistant send me a dry email of all your credentials that you're fabulous, none of which tell me why you'd be a good fit for the show. Because you may be spectacular, but it could be a great dress, but the wrong size. You may be really brilliant at what you do, but not a good fit for, my audience. And so what happens is you don't get any idea of their personality at all in this blurb about how great they are. But, when I saw the video of you, it's like, oh, okay, he's carrying a conversation, he's engaging. Okay, great. Let's connect. So it's a game changer.
Yeah. I remember when you remember when I reached out to you, I said, hey, pick me, pick me, pick
me. Yeah.
But, it was natural for me to send you a video email.
Yeah.
Because then it was kind of, I was taking it up another notch, like pick me.
Yeah.
And then you're right. I got to humanize. You got to meet Greg Cross in the flesh, so to speak, virtually, at least video email. Video testimonials are that and even more. I mean, if you can get customers to capture that, it's easy. We're working on some technology, Chris, that I think is really cool. I think sometime this summer, we're going to launch a feature on our platform called Fusion. Okay. And the thing I love about this, so imagine sending a video email and going, hi, Greg, this is blah, 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 blah. And then, hey, I want you to see, what other customers are saying about us as soon as I finish my video email. And then have that video testimonial just play, but right inside the body of that video email. That's going to be huge. That's a technology that nobody else has. And so we're trying to figure out, because we believe video is powerful.
Well, I believe you are correct. All right. So we're talking about video marketing in general, and we're focusing on testimonials. Tell us, what else do you think we're missing the boat on? Because you're preaching to the choir. I'm all about this. What do you think people are just not appreciating about it? About
video in general, video marketing?
Video, whichever way you want to go, video or video testimonials, whichever way you want to go.
Well, so I think what people are missing out on is they kind of come to this presupposition that video is too hard, and it's just like anything, Chris. I mean, right. It's like you just have to kind of step up to the plate, put the bat in your hands and swing the ball. And there's always going to be pitches and stuff coming your way. And so people need to to be honest, they just need to get over their bad self and just realize and embrace it and just do video, because Zoom, has done more to help prep people for a video generation than anything. Because now I meet people that go like, oh, I'm on Zooms all week, so no, it's nothing for me to get in front of a camera. So I think that's one of the things I say, that people just need to embrace it and realize that it's here. And so they need to do that. So the technology, platforms like ours, there are a lot of there's no excuse in the business world today to say that I don't have a platform that can do this for me, because it's easier now more than ever, and it's going to continue to get easier.
Yeah, and I know I can't stress this enough, people. I know it was like a Friday afternoon, and I wasn't working. I left the office early, and one of somebody I just started working with had referred me to somebody else, and they want to, like, you got to meet Chris, you got to get on her calendar. And I wanted to say to her, listen, give me your calendar link. I'll be really creative, because mine is very restrictive right now. I'm packed, that kind of thing. And I thought, I don't like that in an email. It sounds like I can barely fit you in. I'm so important. So I was actually out, and I was in my car, and I shot a quick video. I said, hey, Sarah says I should meet you, I can really help you with your business. I'm all about that. I believe your business should support your life instead of consume it. Here's the situation. It's Friday. I'm not even in the office. I want to get you in, and this is how we're going to do it. We're going to be creative. Can you send me your calendar link? Because mine is really restrictive right now, and I will make this work. Now, she went on, like, I don't know, like I created a fashion shoot in the middle of my day. I was out and I stopped and I produced this video for her. And frankly, it was just so much quicker than writing that out. And I knew it would come across so much more, customer oriented versus in the email, it'd come off like I think I'm all that in a bag of chips and I don't have time for you. Right. So it's so much easier. It's really easier.
Well, and I love what you said earlier, Chris, when you said, the idea about credibility. I mean, it's people trust. I mean, I can give a pitch about, my business. You can give a pitch about win the hour of the day. But if someone else comes into the narrative and gives a video testimonial about what you're doing, that's so much more powerful because people will trust the experience. And that's this, in one sense, that's not something new, right? Because people will seek after celebrities to endorse their product through video.
Yeah.
We live in a video culture. I mean, Netflix is through the roof, Hulu. I mean, we all like to watch, film, videos, movies. A commercial, a compelling commercial will draw us in. But video testimonials, even if you take it on the lowest rung of the small business ladder, now the technology is there and it's not expensive for people to be able to do that.
Okay. All right. So video testimonials, what else do you think makes a good, testimonial?
Helping. So one of the things that we do is a lot of times people will say, I'll give you a video testimonial. Then they say, what do you want me to say?
Right.
There's some people like, well, I can get on a video testimonial. And so I always tell people it's good to kind of instruct them and short of writing the script, but instruct them and say, Bob, talk about the time and then give them specific and parameters. So again, going back to my roofing client, talk about how that you love the curb appeal that we added to your, 28-year-old home and how you now smile big every time you drive into your garage every night coming home after a long day at work. I mean, you start to paint a narrative and then get that person thinking about the story that they want to tell.
I totally agree with you because if you don't, they really do try to do their best for you. And all of a sudden it's a full on presentation, like reading the Charter of Rights or something, right? And you're like, listen, just say this. So I do really find it really was a turning point for me when I started saying, here, I'm going to ask you this one question. Can you answer it? Like, how many hours were you working before? How many hours are you working now? Second question, it might be like, how's that impacted your family or your health, right? Another thing I learned, and I have to say I'm ashamed, I really only started, a mentor of mine turned me onto this about 2 years ago, that I used to think the more specific the testimonial, the better. Like, oh, I read Chris's Win the Hour, Win the Day book, boom, 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 right? And it was all specifics. But he's like, listen, when you get a testimonial, if you can just keep it general, then you can use it for your book or your pod. Because at the end of the day, they worked with Chris, they worked with Win the Hour. So whether it's this coaching program or the next coaching program or whatever, if they had a positive engagement with you, keep it generic. Because then you're not, oh, I can't use that one. It's a really good one, but that's our first book. And I'm now talking about our second book. You know what I mean? So I also learned that it doesn't have to be super, super specific.
Yeah. And but it's not like don't write the script for the people, but give them some cues and then get their wheels turning. I mean, I always liken it to, back in college days, you got this 30-page term paper you want to write. And it's always that first page that's the hardest to write. You're like, but once you kind of get the wheels going, the video testimony will come out. And you know what, if it needs to be redone, it can be redone. We also, on our platform, we add music. I mean, have you ever watched a movie with no music? That's another thing I encourage people to do is to add, compelling, but if it's a soothing video, have a soothing audio, because that, believe it or not, makes a huge difference in how the video sounds. And so even with our Glimpse video platform, we let you put music. There's going to be some, if you're a funeral home looking for videos, well, your music's probably not going to be upbeat and, but pick pick a genre that fits the vibe or the energy. I like to use that word several times.
Mm.
Energy of the person giving the video. So we have like one audio trial called Let's Dance, and it's like, dun, 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 dun. Well, that may not be something you'd want to do, on maybe a counseling session, or a video
So
test.
you guys out there, do you think I should ask him that I didn't understand and make him sing that again?
That was my
Okay.
that was my bad impression of an electric guitar, so.
That's a powerful point. Like when you first said add music to it, I was like, yeah, of course, add music to it. But I didn't add music to any of mine. I was like, oh, right.
I'm telling
Like
you,
it makes sense.
it different. It makes
Yeah, you're
there's
right.
actually I don't know if it was on Discovery Channel or something. I saw a whole documentary on the power of sound engineering. And one of the
Mm.
things they showed was movies. I mean, they would show you like a minute clip of a movie without no music, and then show you with and it makes a difference, those suspense, and
Yeah.
stuff, orchestras, and same way with video testimonials. When you add music to it, it draws people in.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. As far as music goes, when I start hearing that scary stuff, I'm a coward. I'm like, oh, this movie's over for me. Yeah.
M. Night Shyamalan, I don't know if you've ever seen his movies, and he has this.
No, I didn't. They're not what we call a Chris movie. I watched the whole American Sniper movie because I didn't know what it was about. And then there was 10 minutes left and the music got dark. And I thought they've got 10 minutes. I don't know what's about to happen, but they're not about to turn this around. So I just ended the movie. So I've seen a lot of movies that have wonderfully happy endings that the rest of you all have not seen.
We went to the theater, my wife and I see that, and she wanted to get up and walk out because it's a typical, but our son, who at the time, which I was like, duh, was in the military. And she's like, why did you drag me to this film? Why did being in the military? But anyways, I sidebar.
No, I get it. So, okay. So that's a really powerful note. Like I know to add music when I'm producing or doing videos for whatever, even our podcast, the intro music has a big impact, but it just, I know I nodded and I said, yeah, add music, but I didn't really understand the impact and the purpose of it having, like, I know that, but I forgot of how impactful it would be in testimonial. Okay. That's a really good point. Awesome. All right. So we have a couple minutes left. What's that one last thing you want to educate us on so that it doesn't go amiss?
I know this is going to sound like a no-brainer, but at the end of the day, people watch videos. I know. So my point there is that, if somebody listening to this podcast is going like, okay, you convinced me, I know I need to do video testimonials, but just remember is that whenever, whether it be in social channels or if you have on your landing page on your website, video testimonies, and you have what I just call a wall of videos of people giving praise, about your service, people will take time to watch those and keep them short. Don't let your customer drone on for even 2 or 3 minutes, Chris, is long. People just won't. You want to think they will, but they won't. I mean, if you ever go to YouTube and you see something, you have a certain threshold in your brain. That's why we limit ours to 50 seconds. And you train your customer to really get pithy and concise and be very, exact in what they want to say.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, I'm ashamed to admit this. It happens more often than not, and I know everyone does it. Like you'll read an email and you skim it and you got to the point that you wanted and you're like, oh yeah. And then you reply and like, oh, I missed that other, like, no, like there's some clarification where I just find that people hear me better in video. Like I'll send an email, ask somebody for 2 things and they get back to me with one, like, oh, I skipped that. I just got to this one. But when you send a video, you can stop and pause and say, okay, I need 2 things from you, holding up 2 fingers. Hear me. This is why I'm doing this. This we're going to do this with. And the second thing is super important because I did that too. We changed our podcast process, but at one point, what I was doing is explaining when we have intro meeting, why I have an intro meeting. It's because I want to find the interview before the show. I want you guys out there to really have a purposeful show and not us sort of all floundering all over the place. And some people don't like that because it means 2 meetings, whatever. So when I wrote that out, it just sounded like arbitrary policy, whatever. But when I explained it in a video, I'm like, listen, here's the thing. I want us to dive right into the conversation. I want us to get going. I want the audience to get a lot out of it, but I want you and I to have fun. And here's what I found works. Then they heard me, they were appreciative, they listened. But in an email, that's just wah, 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 you know?
No, and kudos to you, because for me, the fact that we had that prep actually then helped me between then and the time in the act. It helped me think, what am I going to say? What am I going to say? Well, I mean, there's a certain spontaneity in the moment that we've been talking today, but it's the same with video testimonials. When a small business or a business reaches out, don't expect that your customer to pounce, the minute they get your request. They need to think about it. And so there's a system. And so they need to think about what they want to say, and they'll do it, but they need to be short and pithy.
100%. Because listen, guys, I read every testimonial you put out there as far as the podcast goes, every single one. And I really take it seriously. And you've been so generous, and you guys are really clear about, you want solid takeaways. So I am militant. You'd be surprised how many people want to be in the show that don't get on the show and all this other stuff. But I do take that very seriously. So, all right, Greg, you have been fantastic. So Glimpse Video, hey, just so people aren't wondering or eliminating themselves from the process thinking they can't afford it, are you comfortable telling us what's the average size of your package? How could they work with you or get on this?
Yeah, thank you for that opportunity. Yeah, so our services is $49. A subscription is $49 a month. And we're like different other video marketing tools. We offer to our customers, Chris, video email, video testimonial capture from your customers, story videos, and branded videos, 90-second short pithy videos, all of those tools for $49.
That sounds like a deal to me. All right, people, it will be in the show notes. Greg, thank you for your brilliance. And so when people are looking for you, they go to glimpsevideo.com.
Glimpsevideo.com. Glimpse Video spelled with an I.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. And everyone else, till the next show, we'll see you then. Thanks. Okay, awesome, Greg. Did you have fun?
Yeah, it was good. I liked once we got into a cadence. I really feel like if people just need to kind of embrace technology, I run into small businesses, they just go, I don't know how to do that, but the thing that I like about, once they see, it's education, right? I mean, podcasts, or even people that say, I want to start a podcast. In one sense, people are like, well, just do it. But there's software out there now. People that started podcasts 5 years ago, oh my gosh, you did have to have this and this. And so you've done a really good turnkey in developing a system. And that's really, what we're trying to do with Glimpse Video, is just providing a system that people go, I mean, the greatest testimony people go to me like, this is so stinking easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, that's what we want to do. And we keep tweaking it and keep working on it.
Yeah. Well, we're all about systems. It's what I do. So we're all about systems, because we're all about what we call the 60-40 rule. So most entrepreneurs are in the web of admin about 80% of the time. And I believe you should be in creation mode 60% of the time and admin mode 40% of the time, because you need to constantly be creating whatever it is, your podcast, your next book, your next coaching thing, whatever. And you can't always be waiting to get to the real work. So we're all about that, because I think that formula of being in admin mode 80% of the time is just you never get where you're always in a pain point of, I can't get to the real work. Yeah, no, I appreciate that. And that's, Gerber's philosophy, and, just whole Michael Gerber's systems. It's just, gosh, the more you can, develop systems, it makes business life so much easier. Yeah. Yeah. Fabulous. All right. Stay in touch, my friend.